So the Portland Trailblazers have gotten off to a very impressive 9-3 start, and I don't think this 9-3 start is a fluke. I think it's very sustainable, especially when you look at all the circumstances of the Portland Trailblazers. There's two very circumstances that stand out to me. Number one is their schedule. Their schedule has not been has not been easy at all. And then number two, they've been dealing with some injuries. We still haven't seen Gary Payton II yet this season. Damian Lillard has missed 5 games. Anthony Simons has missed a couple games, and so have Yusuf Nurkic and Jeremy Grant, and those are their best players right there. So this team, missing players, has still been able to get 9 wins against some formidable opponents. And just to name some of the teams that they have beaten so far, they've beaten the New Orleans Pelicans without Damian Lillard. They've also beaten the Phoenix Suns twice, and in one of those wins, they were without Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard, their 2 best scorers. So a very impressive win. And then they've also beaten teams like the Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Denver Nuggets. So they've had some noticeable wins this season. And I was looking at the Portland Trailblazers. I was looking at their stats as a team, and this was so crazy to me. Right now, they rank 15th in the league in offensive rating, and they rank 6th in the league in defensive rating. I want to tell you guys why that's so crazy to me. In my opinion, I think the Portland Trailblazers, with the personnel that they have, they're so much better than 15th in the league in offensive rating. But we do have to take some things into account. They have a new piece, Jeremy Grant, so it might take a while for them to build that correct chemistry with him. And then also injuries. Damian Lillard has been out for 5 games, and then Simons and Nurkic and Grant, they miss games, and all those guys contribute big time on the offensive side of the ball. So I think it makes sense for their offense to kind of be in the middle of the pack right now. But I think when it's all said and done, the Portland Trailblazers are going to have one of the best offenses in the NBA. So what's crazy is that this is just speaking volumes to how great their defense has been so far this season. 6th in the league. That's one of the best defenses in the NBA. And if you've been watching the Blazers this so far this season, their defense has won them a lot of ball games. And another great sign for the Blazers is that this defense is going to get even better, because they haven't even had their best defender yet. The guy that they paid this offseason, Gary Payton II, he's still nursing his injury, and he hasn't made it to the court yet. And he's one of the most versatile players in the NBA, one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. So all of these things are great signs for the Portland Trailblazers. They're 9-3 on the season, but they are far from playing their best basketball yet. Damian Lillard has missed 5 games. The offense is not as potent as it's going to be. And then their defense has the opportunity to get better, even though it's already great. So when we look at this team, and what's the number one thing that make the Portland Trailblazers so dangerous, is Dame Dollar. Now, me personally, I was very excited to watch Damian Lillard play this season, because I know he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder all season long. Last year, Damian Lillard got off to a very slow start, and his numbers weren't looking like what we were accustomed to seeing, and all the casual basketball fans started to say that he's falling off, or he's not the point guard that he once was. And then Damian Lillard, he went down with this injury, so he couldn't even prove those doubters wrong. He had to wait a very long time. He had to wait all the way into the current season that we are in starting, and now we are in the 2022-2023 NBA season, and Damian Lillard is playing out of his mind. He's played 7 games so far for the Blazers. They're undefeated in all 7 of those games, and he's putting up some monster numbers. He's putting up 28 points per game to go along with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. And what's so impressive about it to me is that he's doing it so efficiently. He's shooting 48% from the field, 40% from the 3-point line, and 86% from the free throw line. So when you take into consideration that Damian Lillard, a lot of the field goals that he takes are jump shots, it just shows you just how accurate of a jump shooter that he is. So it's very impressive. And I think Damian Lillard, watching him this year, like with my eyes, I believe he's in his absolute prime. And when you get into your absolute prime, it's not just off your physical play, but I think it's also off your mental play as well. And Damian Lillard, when he plays, it looks like he's just seen it all. It looks like he's seen everything, all the defenses. He knows when teams are gonna double team and trap him. He's just it's just nothing you can really do to slow him down. The only person that can slow down Dame Dollar right now is himself, and he can do everything offensively. He can pull up from 30. He can shoot it off the catch. He's moving without the basketball. He's cutting, running off screens. He can get downhill and finish with the best of them around the rim. He has a mid-range pull-up. He has everything. And I saw this crazy stat that Damian Lillard on isolation shots is shooting 77.8% from the field. And then the other side of the stat is that the average percentage of the whole NBA from the free throw line is 77%. So that is some crazy stuff right there. And Damian Lillard, he is a monster, and I think he's the #1 factor that makes the Portland Trailblazers so dangerous and so volatile. So Dame Dollar is Dame Dollar. I'm pretty sure you guys knew that, but I always have to acknowledge him. And we look at the other thing that makes this team so dangerous is that I feel like this roster is the most balanced it's ever been in the Damian Lillard era, and that's mostly because what they have been doing from last year's trade deadline in this offseason, or I should say last offseason. Now we look last year at the NBA trade deadline. I think what the Portland Trailblazers have done since then, they have done a great job of reconstructing this basketball team, and I cannot lie, I thought they were going to trade Damian Lillard. I remember this day so vividly. I remember just getting all these alerts to my phone that the Portland Trailblazers, they was just making trade after trade. They traded CJ McCollum to the New Orleans Pelicans, and then they traded Robert Covington and Norman Powell to the Los Angeles Clippers. And I was just thinking that, you know, if the Blazers are in win now mode, these are guys that you want on your team because they are pretty solid basketball players, Norman Powell and Robert Covington, and we all know how special CJ McCollum is. So when I saw the Blazers doing that, I thought maybe like, damn, maybe they're about to hit this reset button and go into rebuild mode, but they did not trade away Damian Lillard. But I think since that point, they've done a great job of reconstructing this roster. We look at some of the assets that they got from that trade deadline, and I think the biggest one they got was Josh Hart. Since he's been a part of the Portland Trailblazers, he's just been playing some lights out basketball. Last season, when he finished the season with them, put up some great numbers, putting up 20 points per game to go along with like 5 assists and 5 rebounds. And so far this season, he has been playing great, and he rebounds the basketball. I've never seen a guy his size rebound the basketball like this before. Like, he plays the shooting guard position. The Blazers run him at the 3, but he's a shooting guard. So I think the way that he hustles for those rebounds is magnificent. He can guard multiple positions. He can knock down the 3-point shot. Just a great pickup for the Portland Trailblazers. So we fast forward to the offseason, and this is where I think the Portland Trailblazers, they had a very underrated offseason because they did a great job, and it started with the way that they got Jeremy Grant. Now, I am a Detroit Pistons fan. I live in Detroit, so I was monitoring this closely. I heard that Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers, they were interested in Jeremy Grant. So you guys had the 7th overall pick, so I thought we were going to go straight up. We were going to give you Jeremy Grant, and we were going to get you guys his lottery pick, but you guys were able to put an offer on the table. I believe it was a Milwaukee Bucks future first round pick. You guys shipped that to us for Jeremy Grant. I think that move right there was so big time for you guys because you were able to add Jeremy Grant, a guy that's gonna help you win now, and then also use that 7th pick that turned into Shaedon Sharpe and still build something for your future. And Shaedon Sharpe has been pretty impressive so far this season. He has had some big time games for a rookie, and I definitely see the potential there within him. So you guys were able to get Jeremy Grant and Shaedon Sharpe, and then you finished the offseason season with a bang by getting Gary Payton II. I am a huge fan of his because he just makes a huge impact on the game of basketball on the defensive side of the ball, and that is very much needed to win an NBA championship. So I think what the Blazers did this offseason is what makes them so dangerous right now. So many different ways that they can beat you. This season we've already seen them beat teams with their stifling defense, and they don't even have their best defender yet. They can beat you by lining you up from the 3-point line. We've seen a game where I believe this was against the Denver Nuggets when Damian Lillard had like 30, but Anthony Simons just exploded in the third quarter. He couldn't miss a three. So they can beat you when those two guys just get hot. They can beat you inside the paint with Jeremy Grant and Yusuf Nurkic. When Yusuf Nurkic is focused and he's playing on top of his game, he's one of the better bigs in the NBA. And then they can pound you on the glass, man. Josh Hart, Yusuf Nurkic, Jeremy Grant, when he gets in that mood that he wants to rebound, he's a very solid rebounder as well. So the Portland Trailblazers, they're looking very scary right now, and what's scaring me the most about this team is that they're not playing their best brand of basketball just yet. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.